Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of J. Kuhn Presents. I'm back again with another e-cigarette review. Now, for those of you asking why I don't do these more often, it's very simple. I do have a limited supply of what I have. I haven't earned enough clout to where companies are sending me stuff for free. One or two companies do, but for the most part, this stuff is coming out of my own pocket. And if I were to do an e-cigarette review, let's go with the average of like once a week, it would only be a matter of time before I would run out of stuff to review, so I try to space it out as often as I can. But what I'm going to be reviewing today is the Gold Rush from Madvapes.com. Now, I wanted to get a little more technical information about this device, but the thing is, when I went and looked at the website for Madvapes, this is nowhere to be found on it anymore. So you may be a little hard-pressed to find this. It's a 6-volt tube mod device. It runs on two C123A batteries. They're some of the smallest batteries that I've had for e-cigarette devices, but it runs at a constant 6 volts. It's definitely one of the highest voltage e-cigarettes that I have. And what sets it apart from the other ones that I have is that it's actually plastic. It's an acrylic tube instead of it being metal. But that doesn't hinder the performance at all. If anything, it makes it a lot more lightweight. It still has that standard size for your usual tube mod, and it fits very nicely in my hands, and it delivers one of the best kicks I've ever had in an e-cigarette. I'm using my cartomizer tank that I usually tend to stick with. This is definitely my favorite way to vape. And about time to do a refill on that. But as far as the device goes, it has two vent holes at the bottom to prevent overheating and such if you don't have protected batteries. But anyone that does e-cigarettes ought to know, especially if you've stepped into the modding level of vaping, that you always have protected batteries. That is just absolutely, bar none, not debatable. You need to have protected batteries. Now, for those of you that drip, I've mentioned in my videos before, I'm not big on dripping, but the Gold Rush has one of the deepest drip wells that I've seen. So if you like to drip, and you'll definitely like to drip at a high voltage, the Gold Rush is definitely for you. Now, I'll go ahead and give you a little demo too, right here. So, here we go. Very good vapor output, but as I've said before, that's more the cartomizer than the device itself. But running at 6 volts, it takes a lot of getting used to. But once you do get used to vaping at 6 volts, it does have a very nice warm throat hit because of how hot it's running. This was one of the cheaper devices that I got. I got this at an e-cigarette meetup called Vape Fest a few months back. It ran me, the device alone ran me about $60. That was just for the tube. The batteries and the charger, I did have to buy a separate charger. My universal charger doesn't support 123A batteries, unfortunately. So I do have two separate high-power battery chargers. One specifically for the 123As and the other one for everything else. Altogether, I want to say it ran at about $80. I definitely use this just as much as some of my other devices, and I've definitely not been disappointed with it. The only problem is you need to make sure that you have high voltage cartomizers or atomizers to use a device like this. If you don't, you are guaranteed to get one of the most horrific burnt tasting sensations you have ever had in an e-cigarette experience, and I definitely don't recommend that. The first time it happened to me, it almost made me want to throw up. So definitely make sure that you have some cartomizers or atomizers that can take 6-volt vaping. But like I said, you may be a little hard-pressed to still find this device, but if you can, I definitely recommend picking it up. And if it happens to be on the website and I just overlooked it, definitely check out www.madvapes.com and just search for Tube Mod Gold Rush. It's It'll be very hard to miss. It's the only e-cigarette I have that has that very unique design, which I think it's really cool. It almost makes it look like it's made out of stone, almost. But, yeah, that about wraps everything up for this review. I hope y'all enjoyed watching it, and I certainly hope it was informative. For those of y'all trying to get into the e-cigarette field, maybe cigarettes just ain't doing it for you anymore. I definitely recommend picking it up. It'll be a bit of a learning curve for you, but the more you know, the more you're going to enjoy it. I promise you that. Coming up on the show, I will be doing a recap of Flawless Victory. So expect another Road to Evo episode relatively soon. This Saturday I'll be competing in a Mortal Kombat tournament up north in Virginia at George Mason University. It'll be a Mortal Kombat only tournament, so if you dig Mortal Kombat and you got the time to do a little traveling, head up to George Mason University. It's only $10 for the tournament, and then $10 to get in. So, with any luck, maybe I'll see some of you there. If not, I'll definitely be recording footage and maybe an interview or two, depending on who will actually allow me to film them, because I always ask permission before I film. So, thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.